I want to talk to you about the best startup business loans that you can really apply for this year. So, if you are a startup, if you're a new business, a new LLC, a new S corporation, or a new LP, whatever corporation you have, there are some top lenders that are willing to actually lend to you this year. And we are looking at 100,000 all the way to $1 million. So here are those top lenders I want you to pay attention to. Number one, I want you to think about T-Core Financial. So T-Core Financial can give you a maximum loan amount of 5 million. So if you are a startup and you're looking for up to $5 million, T-Core Financial will really help you out. Now, T-Core specializes in equipment financing. So they're not giving you money just for like a regular loan. Okay, they're giving you cash. They're giving you cash to finance equipment. But the cool thing is that you can actually get a maximum of $5 million. And also, what I love about Take Core Financial is that they will close the loan within 24 to 48 hours. As long as you have all the paperwork ready, you have an invoice from the manufacturer, they can close your loan real fast. Okay, so maximum loan amount here $5 million, minimum loan amount $500,000, $500. So it goes from $500 all the way to $5 million to be repaid over a maximum period of 7 years. So repayment window goes from 1 year to 7 years. So that's really good. And your FICO score doesn't really matter because equipment financing actually calls for collateralized lending. So the lender actually pays attention a lot more to the equipment you want to finance. Number two, if you're looking for the best startup business loans, think about Wells Fargo. What I love about Wells Fargo is that you have a traditional bank, a national bank that's willing to lend to a startup. Usually, banks don't want to lend to startups, but Wells Fargo actually is breaking away from that tradition. So they will give you a maximum loan amount of $50,000. So the loan amounts here go from $5,000 to $50,000, and it really helps if you have a pre-existing relationship with Wells Fargo. So if you have an account with them, if you have done business with them in the past, whether you have an individual account or a business account, it really helps. It really helps to have a pre-existing relationship with Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo will give you a maximum of $50,000 to be repaid over 5 years. So you're looking at 60 months repayment window that your startup has to actually repay the loan. If you're looking for the best startup business loans, I want you to really also think about Outline. And Outline actually is affiliated, is actually a subsidiary of the Southern Bank Company. So you have an affiliation to a traditional bank, FDIC insured. So that's really good because it gives you some kind of flexibility, but also some kind of solidity in terms of the funds, okay? In terms of the lending process. So if your startup is looking for money this year, you can think about Outline. Outline will give you a maximum of $5 million. So the loan amount goes from 30,000 all the way to $5 million. And Outline is great for financing unpaid invoices. So you're looking at accounts receivable financing, accounts receivable financing, but also let's say like some kind of revenue-based financing. Okay, so and Outline is charging you an advance rate that goes from 75% to 90%. So in other words, they'll give you if you are expecting receivables for $1,000, they give you 75 to 90% of that amount. Okay, right now, so it's good for invoice factoring. Okay, and the cool thing about Outline is that it doesn't matter how long you've been in business. So if you are a startup, you can qualify for financing right away because Outline cares about your revenue, cares about the quality of your accounts receivable, the quality of your invoices. That's what they care about, and they can really close the loan real fast too. They can close the funding process real fast, within 24 to 48 hours usually. Next, I want you to think about Fundbox. So if you're looking for the best startup business loan this year, think about Fundbox, and Fundbox can give you a maximum working capital loan that goes all the way to $150,000. The only thing with Fundbox is that they're not giving you a repayment window that's pretty long. They actually give you a maximum of 24 weeks. So they have actually two repayment window. They have 12 weeks and they have 24 weeks. Okay, so it's actually what, 3 to 6 months. You don't have a year to actually repay them. Okay, but hey, listen, a if you're looking for funding as a startup and you are interested in getting up to $150,000, think about Fundbox. If you're looking for the best startup business loans this year, I want you to think about Fundable. And Fundable has been around for a while, and this company actually can give you maximum of $10 million. And Fundable, what I love about Fundable is that it provides different kinds of business loans, including SBA loans to startups. Okay, and in terms of repayment window, you are able to repay the loan over 10 years. So you have a maximum loan amount of $10 million to be repaid over 10 years. That's 120 months. So the exact repayment window goes from 24 months all the way to 120 months. And but the cool thing about Fundable is that again, they are pretty friendly to startups. Okay, and next you have also Bank of America. So Bank of America is the other traditional bank. So besides Wells Fargo, Bank of America will also give you a certain amount. Okay, and so basically, Bank of America allows you to get a maximum loan amount that depends on the solidity of your relationship with them. Okay, they can give you anywhere from 1,000 all the way to $1 million. So if you have a startup and you are looking for some kind of funding, Bank of America can really help you out, and they will give you actually they can structure this as a loan or as a business line of credit. So you have that flexibility. And if they structure it as a business line of credit, they have an annual review to see what's really happening with the account, and if the account is still in good standing. Okay, so but sort of similar to Wells Fargo, it really helps if you have a pre-existing relationship with Bank of America. Those traditional banks, they love it when you have a pre-existing relationship with them. Okay, that way they're pretty sure that they're making money off of you through other ways too, not just through the loans. They're making money, making off of you through, let's say, through account fees or all that kind of stuff. If you use them for merchant account processing, also they can make money off of you that way as well. If you're looking for the best startup business loans this year, I want you to think about Credibly. And Credibly has been around for 20 years at least. And what I love about Credibly is the flexibility that it brings to the table when it comes to startup business funding. Okay, so here you have a 25,000 all the way to $600,000. So Credibly is really good for borrowers with bad credit. So if your credit is really really bad and you just happen to have a new LLC or a new S corporation or a new LP, whatever, a new C corporation, think about Credibly. Okay, you'll receive 25,000 to $600,000, and to be repaid over 6 to 24 months. That's really good. And next, I want you to think about Fora Financial. So Fora Financial is really great because Fora Financial gives you somewhere from 5,000 all the way to $1.5 million. Okay, and so Fora actually remains pretty good for large amounts. If you want to borrow large amounts and you are a startup, Fora Financial will work with you. Okay, and they want you to be in business for a minimum amount. Minimum amount here is 6 months. So if you are brand new startup, you're not going to get funding through Fora. You got to be in existence for at least 6 months before you can actually reach out to them. But once you reach out to them, they can really help you out big time. Okay, so you have low minimum credit score requirements. They offer prepayment discounts. That's really good. So with Fora Financial, you have those prepayment discounts, and you do have quick funding times. You can usually be funded within 24 to 48 hours. The only thing is that they do have you cannot have any open bankruptcies. So if you have open bankruptcies, this is not going to be it's not going to work for you. And also, for a financial cannot help you build business credit. Like those lenders, some of them will help you build business credit because they will report your payments to credit bureaus. But for a financial doesn't do that. So if you repay your loan, Fora doesn't really is not going to report it to Dun and Bradstreet, to Equifax Business, and to Experian Business. So if you're looking for the best startup business loans, I want you to also think about OnDeck. And what I love about OnDeck is that OnDeck has been around for more than 20 years. And with OnDeck, your startup can get anywhere from $5,000 to $250,000. And but interest rates with OnDeck, you're not going to have single digit interest rates. Okay, you're having an interest rate that goes from 10%, 10, 12%, give or take, all the way to 35.99%. Okay. And OnDeck also wants you to repay the loan, let's say within a short amount of time too. So up to 24 months. Okay. So that's the minimum time in business that they actually are asking for. So that's up to 24 months, but the minimum time in business for OnDeck is between 6 and 12 months. Okay. But the cool thing about OnDeck is that you have the possibility to get funded real fast. So they have same day funding options. Okay. And also, qualified borrowers can pay off their loan early with no penalties. That's really good because OnDeck is really making sure that you get access to your funds real fast. The only thing is that if you are in North Dakota, you're not going to qualify for an on-deck loan. If you're LLC, if you're S corporation, if your C corporation is North Dakota, you're not going to qualify because they're not there yet. And also, on deck requires daily or weekly payments, which can be a little disruptive to your cash flow. So just be aware of that. Okay. And also, the last one, if you're looking for the best startup business loans this year, I want you to think about Action Opportunity Fund. So, Action Opportunity Fund is actually great for underserved entrepreneurs. Okay. And if for any reason you can't qualify for a loan through regular traditional methods, go to Action Opportunity Funds. Here you have loan amounts from $5,000 all the way to $250,000 to be repaid over 12 to 60 months. 12 to 60 months. Okay, this is really good. And basically, Action lends mostly to women, people of color, and low-income entrepreneurs. Okay, so you have a platform that targets a specific audience, and if you happen to be in that audience, you can certainly reach out. Now, loans are not available for businesses based in Washington D.C., Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Tennessee, or Vermont. So you have some a little bit of geo restriction here. So I just shared with you the top 10 startup business loans to actually think about this year. Okay. So what are the generalities here? I just want to talk quickly about some general items before I close today's conversation. I want to first talk to you about what is a startup business loan. If you think about a startup business loan, first of all, you got to have a startup, right? You got to have a new company, a brand new company. But the real definition of startup actually can stretch a little bit in terms of time. So if your business has been in existence for less than 12 months, it can still be considered a startup. Okay. So a startup business loan can help your new company get the capital it needs to cover startup costs and grow the business operations. So startup business loans actually typically have more lenient eligibility requirements, but they may come with higher fees and shorter repayment terms than traditional small business loans. You saw a little earlier that some of those lenders, they wanted you to repay them within 24 months or within 18 months. Okay. For instance, if you think about on deck or you think about fundable, for instance, or even credibly. Okay. But you can use the cool thing about startup business funding is that you can use the money for all kinds of all kinds of purposes. In other words, there is no requirements, there is no restriction Unlike when you have a traditional equipment financing arrangement where you have to use the money to buy a piece of equipment. Okay, here you can use startup financing to cover supplies, equipment, office spaces, marketing campaigns, website design, inventory, payroll, and more. So this is really good because it gives you a lot of possibility. Okay, and so in terms of startup business loans versus traditional business loans, it's just that if you go to a traditional business loans, the requirements are a little more thorough in terms of things like DTI, credit score, annual revenue, time and business plan, for instance. Okay, so something to really think about. And if you think about the types of startup business loans, you have everything you can think about. You can think about lines of credits, SBA loans, micro loans, short term loans, equipment financing. So you have a variety of funding. You have merchant cash advance. You have invoice factoring. Okay, so this is something to really keep in mind if you are looking for funding. And if you want to actually qualify for a startup business loan, you want to improve your personal credit score, you want to focus on your debt to income ratio. Yeah. You want to offer substantial collateral if needed. And you also want to show a strong cash flow. So the cash flow can be actual or projected. So how do you apply for a startup business loan? Actually, the process the process for applying for a startup business loan is not really that complicated. But you got to be structured and you got to have a vision and you also got to start a little earlier. So first of all, you want to decide what type of financing you need. If you remember, I gave you a little earlier the types of financing you can have when it comes to business funding, right? Do you want a business loan? Do you want a business line of credit? Do you want a merchant cash advance? Do you want invoice factoring? Do you want equipment financing? What do you need? Do you need an SBA loan? Because all those types of financing have different eligibility requirements, have different repayment windows, and they have different fees attached to them too, in case they have fees. Okay, so only you can decide how much you need and what's right for your startup business. You want to check your personal and business credit scores. If you have business credit scores, you want to check them and see where you were at. Research and compare lenders and gather the required documents. So when it comes to startup business loans, the requirements I've said a little earlier are not as stringent as what you have with traditional business loans, but you still have to gather a few documents, right? Personal and business tax returns. If you have already filed 1 year of business taxes, you want to have the data. You want to have your 1065, your 1120S, or your 1120 with you. You want to have your employer identification number, copies of business licenses and registrations, financial statements and bank statements, a business plan, and also a certificate of good standing, and also details on the collateral if applicable, right? Now, if you want to compare and contrast startup business loans, you have to think about, you want to look at the interest rates, the additional fees they're charging you, the repayment term, and also the time to fund, right? Some lenders have a fast turnaround time, others actually take their time. And you also need to think about the loan purpose because some lenders restrict how you spend the funds, right? I said this before. So it's something you really think about. Now, there are some alternatives to loans for new businesses. If for any reason you do not qualify and you can't get funded real fast, think about business startup grants, for instance. Think about grants instead of loans. Think about grants. Think about scaling up and bootstrapping. Think about personal loans also, like a personal loan or a 401k loan, okay, to kind of help. Or think about business credit cards too. That can really be helpful. Or just reach out to friends and family, or even do crowdsourcing. Because the whole idea here is to gather funds, right? So crowdsourcing can really help you also in terms of gathering the funds that you really need. So, in conclusion to this conversation, I spoke to you about the best startup business loans. I gave you the top lenders, the generalities, and now the conclusion. In terms of top lenders, you have Taycore Financial, Wells Fargo, Outline, Fundbox, Fundable, Bank of America, Credibly, Fora Financial, OnDeck, and Axion Opportunity Fund. Thank you so much. God bless you. I will see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.